My name is Will, and this is my video out. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I am 58 years old. I live in New York City. Have lived here for 35 years.
What brought you from Los Angeles to New York?
Well, the true story, which I've never actually thought to tell before, is during the Olympics in Los Angeles in '84, I got into trouble with the law for cruising. I mean, basically, if you're on the sidewalk in LA, you're suspicious. And I had court dates to speak to people after that, and just decided, you know, this might be a good time to go visit some relatives in another city. And I did, and I never left. It's weird. It's like I never thought of it as another low-key sort of gay refugee story, but it sort of is.
Wow.
I'm just realizing that now. In many ways it was great. It was to grow up in Los Angeles. It was very smoggy at the time, but there was also there was a certain amount of leeway to do your own thing. That was very highly prized. And so while there wasn't a lot of obvious culture in the New York sense, if you were interested in those things, it seemed okay for a kid to, the other kids gave space for it. You could be weird a little bit. So that was good. But, you know, this was 50 years ago, Stonewall. And even though I'm from, well, first the east side of LA, but then the Hollywood area, you would think, okay, so it was okay to grow up queer. And no, it really wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. And that would be a mistake to think that. I remember knowing as a very small kid that there was something about men that had a special pull to me. In movies, you know, buddy movies spoke to me and something, and I knew it was not what I was supposed to be feeling. I knew it was stronger. So that's as far back as I can remember. And then it was very difficult to peel that onion. It really was. I mean, even I never even thought about this, but you know, I fooled around with a neighbor kid. Even just saying fooled around is like to trivialize it. A friend of mine, and I never thought of that as, when did you first have sex? And it was, but it was just, oh no, that's just, you know, we're just being stupid, whatever. So even then, I wasn't clear that that's who I was. Just simply can be summarized into, you are a gay male. That took a lot longer.
Yeah.
It's still going on, isn't it? You know, sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, we come out over and over and over.
Over and over, every day, still doing it 58 years later. Never told this one before either. He was my best friend, senior in high school, and he was, you know, stunning. You know, Southern California, grown in the sun, kind of stunning. And I had just gotten my driver's license. I was 16. I was graduating high school, a little young, North Hollywood High. And we were going to a party, and I was about to leave town for a year and go overseas. And we got stoned, because that's what you did. That's what we did daily. And I was driving down Laurel Canyon Boulevard, and out of the blue, my best friend said, "So dude, you know I'm gay, right?" And I actually literally drove the car onto the sidewalk and into a park. Like everything went blank. And I heard like weird music in my head, just like, you know, and off I went. And then I drove, and he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Oh, I'm really stoned or something." And my mouth went completely dry for the rest of the night. I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk to him. I went away for a year. The day I got back, I drove to his house, and We had sex all night. And it was good. And I woke up the next morning looking out over LA just thinking, oh, that's what I am. And that's how it happened. I couldn't even admit that that's what I wanted to do until 6 months after that. I was, I don't know, somewhere. And I got aroused thinking about him and thought, and let myself do that. That's crazy. I never told that one before. In the early 80s, I was here many times in the 70s and 80s, and also in San Francisco, where, you know, there was a very vibrant community, and LA as well, and London as well. But it was not easy to connect to, for me. It didn't seem like there was a welcome mat out for newcomers. It was very, you had to be a certain way and then you could be in the community. I'm not saying it was, that's how it felt. You could either be, you know, into the drag scene or the leather scene, what we called the clone scene at the time. But it was still, people were telling you how you could be gay, even though it was other gay people. And I didn't connect very easily, and neither when I first came here or anything. So it was all very kind of dirty and subversive and dark. Like, you know, I'd have to drink a lot to get to go to a bar. I also had this thing, I would never, ever, ever take a cab to a gay bar. And at the time, a lot of them were by the river, they were far from the subway, but still, middle of the winter, I would walk, and in my head would be like this thing like, oh, look, I happen to be here at the Spike. I'll go in for a drink. And AIDS changed that. AIDS changed that, of course, and that was just emerging and blowing up, and it was terrifying, and it was a lot of work for people to learn to find ways to help each other and be there for each other, because we were not taught as gay people to help other gay people. We were not taught that other gay people could be allies. We were taught that other gay people are going to knife you and are going to slice you and violate you and mess you up. So it was hard lessons, and that's what it was like. The political strains in and outside of the community none of them have gone away or changed. Some have grown, some have diminished, and they come back. It's cyclical. And I've known this throughout the whole time in activism. You know, with marriage equality, I fought for it, and I never believed that means that's it. It means you have to still keep fighting. One thing I learned that at my advanced age can perhaps help young activists to know is the haters really do hate you, and they really will stop at nothing, and they never went away. But you can dismantle the power, you can dismantle the voices, you can there are some cases, don't count on it, where you can illuminate people, where you can make them say, I never thought of that. People can change, that don't guarantee that the whole nation's going to change, but some can. But I can share, like, don't underestimate you. They don't want you to exist, to be visible, to be empowered, which also includes a lot of things like healthy. For many of us, it includes sober. It includes having a family, things that empower you, building wealth as a gay person. There are a lot of people who are actively working against that for a myriad of reasons. Know that. Don't be paranoid, don't off yourself, don't give up, but know that.
So what gives you hope now that you've sort of lived and you've seen that?
Articulate young people, like people you've spoken to that I heard. The fact that I'm still here, that the smart money was not on me still being here in 1977 or many other times since then. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. And things are pretty good for me. You know, I took up running at an advanced age. You know, I realized, like, wow, who wouldn't want to see me do this, and who would? You know, things like that. So it's all part of activism. Gives me hope. You people doing this? Seriously, why? You could be doing all sorts of stupid things today, and you're doing this. That's massive, man. Respect.
It takes all of us, right?
All of us, inside and outside the community.
Yeah.
I didn't plan to tell that story. I wasn't saying, oh, let me tell that story. Just thank you. So thank you.
Thank you.